Hello, everybody. This is Todd Siegel, psychic detective. I know I haven't been on in a while, and so I just want to answer a couple questions because people always get questions all the time. On missing pet readings, a lot of people will come to me as a sort of a last choice where they've spent thousands of dollars literally with trackers, other psychics, mediums, and whatnot. And then they come to me saying, "You're my last chance, and I don't have any money left." Well, it's not my fault. So, if they would have come to me first, it would have helped a lot. That is not my fault if you've been through all that. And I feel bad for people, and people often wait a long time before they will seek out help from me, but it's just, you know, and the way psychic work works, it's not exactly what people think. And that's one of the problems that I have in my work is that, you know, do I connect with somebody? Do I connect with a pet? Do I see something immediately? I can't predict that. So when I'm got people asking about, oh, should I sign up for this? And can you connect, to my dead husband on the other side? I don't know. Maybe. So, just wanted to cover a couple of questions that people have. But in regards to missing pets, I have found literally hundreds of them since I first started. I find them all the time. I can't guarantee that I can find all the pets. Sometimes bad accidents happen, and that cannot be helped. But as far as what I see and what I do, um, psychic work is basically interpreting information that we get. And it may not even be the same pet. Um, I don't usually connect personally with the pet when I'm tracking them. Now, people, on the other hand, are different. People leave a trail of emotions in other people and places that they go to, and cars and buildings and drug habits, and oftentimes a criminal record behind them as well, which I will pick up. So people leave a trail of baggage, which often leads to disappearances. Although the innocent have a little bit of a different scenario, but it's pretty clear to see what happened to them at the time based on other people, visuals that I'll get of areas, words that are being said, smells of places, that kind of thing. Some of the other questions here. Spirit attachments. Some people think, oh, well, I'm connected to my son or something that passed and I want to hold on to him. Why should I get rid of that spirit attachment? That is not the kind of spirit attachment I'm talking about. Spirit attachment that I'm talking about is more of a negative or persuasive type spirit. A spirit that kind of alters the person you are. And sometimes it can be so extreme. It can be of a person that literally doesn't act themselves anymore. Now, the usual perspective of a spirit attachment is somebody who will undergo some psychological issues as well as some physical problems too. That is what I call maybe your grade A average sort of spirit attachment. But under no circumstances it's somebody who was a positive influence in your life or somebody you love dearly. This could be actually a random spirit that is picked up from a certain location. Although people that are vulnerable to spirit attachments usually have some psychological problems going on with them. It could be severe anxiety, depression, could be PTSD, those kind of things. So, also obsessive compulsive behavior. Okay. So, spirit attachments can come from many places, but if you are vulnerable psychologically, that spirit can have a way into your life. Now, what do I suggest? Do I suggest removing them? No. It's kind of like having a tick on you. What do? Yank it off? No. Sometimes it's better to take a little rubbing alcohol and to have it release itself from you rather than you plucking it off, because then you get the mouth and the legs stuck inside of you and you'll have like a cyst for a month. But with spirit attachments, I often say get counseling, get some therapy, get some psychological therapy, because that can actually help for that attachment to just go. Don't be fooled by the people online who will charge you $1,000 and claiming they can remove the spirit attachment from you. BS. Okay? So, spirit attachments. Other questions. 2024 was one of the questions. I'm just looking over at my paper here. Yeah, the crisis going on with Israel and the Middle East, very serious. It is kind of a prelude to what I saw in 2024 as far as war in the Middle East. It's kind of the tip of the iceberg or the beginning of complications. And I saw 2024 as being a time of war, as well as a possible another lockdown, pandemic type thing. I think that might be in the mix, since they can use that for citizen control. Very simply, it's a control mechanism. I have done some podcasts on the Psychic Zone. You can go to my website, toddsiegelpsychic.com, and you can look under, I think it's under blogs, and all my podcasts are there. And I encourage your feedback, especially if you're on Facebook and I post them there. Please give me your feedback on the podcast. I'm not sure where you can leave feedback on podcasts. Some sites I think you can. I'm not sure if Spotify or what. It's on Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. I think it's on iHeart as well. I did not think it would be so popular, but they are. And I've been reading from a new book I'm writing, or my only book I've ever written. And haven't had a lot of time to write in that book, but I try to as much as I can. Anyway, so things have been pretty busy. Been doing a lot of work for people. I've done some investigations, some criminal investigations. People ask me what a physical medium is, and as an example, it's basically getting inside of that person in spirit, and they're kind of talking through me. Their actions and their words go through me, and I sort of become that person. And this is it's pretty funny sometimes, because some of these people will say funny things, and I must say that when we pass away, we don't lose our sense of humor, honestly. I mean, life's so serious as it is, it would be awful to think that on the other side there is no sense of humor. But I do hear it from people all the time on the other side. One question actually was, how long does someone take when they die to become active in their spirit? And it can take no time. It can be instant. It can actually be before they die. What I mean by that is I've done some readings for some people who have a 99-year-old mom who is in this life, but she's also in the other life. I read her as a spirit. I think when we get older and we get to be that age, we are half in and half out of this life. I think if you put yourself into a spiritual frame of mind practice throughout your life, I think you can also be that way as well. But most of us most people out there who really are leaning toward the spiritual, it's all self-indulgent. It's about me, myself. Honestly, forget about yourself. Don't be just focusing on you. It's what I call detachment. It's like when I do a reading, the last thing I do is think about myself. If I'm thinking about myself, I'll lose it. I'll lose all vision. I'll lose all clarity. I'm basically a nobody, a nothing. And I think I just have this ability to blank out. And then I start receiving the imagery and the visions. But a lot of the spirituality nowadays, it's all about me and myself. You won't be able to become spiritual that way unless you go from yourself, leave yourself for a while. Some of these Buddhists who practice this meditation, they can nearly put themselves to death, slow their heart rate, control their body. And I actually have a Buddhist priest in my family. And I've learned through them detachment, selflessness. Those things are very, very important. But in the West, and you see it all around you. You go into town, you see these people driving their cars, and everybody's only for themselves. I hear tons and tons of relationship readings every day, and the problem is the way people act. It's all about themselves. You know, it's my ego versus your ego. Most of the time, most of these relationships go because there is one, at least one, who's not willing to compromise. If you got two who are not willing to compromise, I mean, they should be together. That's a great relationship. That's a lot of ego. Hey, our egos should mingle and get together. Anyway, I was all nervous about doing a video, but I wanted to come on here. I used to do live videos quite a bit, but I get so overwhelmed with questions from people that I don't have time to sit and focus on some of the questions people have asked me. But I've been getting so many missing dog readings, and people don't understand that it's that I have. You cannot gauge an accuracy level. You know, you can be very accurate for one person, not accurate for the other. But what's accurate? The amount of, stuff you give them. The less stuff you give them, it could be that something happened to their pet with these pet readings. So, but I get that with customers and doing readings. Everybody's got a different, I want to say Wi-Fi signal. And it just goes with this kind of work. So, anyway, that is all I really had to say today. I just wrote down a couple of questions over here. I was looking at what people were asking me. And by the way, like I said, you can listen to my podcast on my website under blogs. So just go to my website. Just look up my name, Todd Siegel. It's right there. Get a reading too. I get so many people like on my Facebook page that ask questions, and one of the topics we were talking about was ashes in the house from the deceased, whether it's pet or people. And people are kind of blown away about my opinion on it. But and I've tried to explain this to people, but I don't think they get it. We hold on to the person or the pet. And when we hold on to ashes, they're not the spirit of that person or pet. Yeah, their spirit can be around it, but it's not their spirit. Spirit's no longer in the body. Well, let's say somebody was shot and you have the ashes of that person. The memory of that passing will be with those ashes. Not only that, you put it in your household, it does attract other dead people or other dead spirits. I've had some houses where the activity was just so high, and they kept their ashes there, and sometimes the activity will tend to cause other things like sickness or arguments, divorce, arguments, people not getting along, that kind of thing. So it's just my opinion. Doesn't mean you have to do this, but it's a good thing to put the dead where the dead are, in a memorial place, a cemetery, or spread the ashes out, or bury them. Definitely do not have them in your bedroom. I remember in my old house, I used to have pet ashes in my living room. And I would do readings there all the time, and I was always distracted, like there was an energy there. So if it doesn't bother you at all and ashes are not an issue for you, then keep them. Go for it. But it's like, you know, if you give an opinion nowadays about something, then you're a meanie. Or I just give people my opinion. Some people, it actually helps them to understand. I've been personally in some houses that I just don't want to be in when somebody's ashes are around. I feel our spirit transcends, goes through kind of a refinement. When it goes on the other side, it can either go to the light, or it can stay around, or it can do both. You know, when we hold on, and we hold on to the ashes, and we're holding on to the physical energy of that person, not necessarily where the spirit's going and where the spirit is headed to. So, I have little superstitions. And, anyway. So, yeah, it's always hard to give opinions nowadays about things. But I will leave you for now. If you're wondering where I am and I'm not on videos all the time, just go to my Facebook page because I'm there most of the time. Or I'm doing readings most of the time, actually. And that's been very busy. And a lot of changes for people. And hopefully I will give some kind of report about 2024 coming up. And that will most likely be a podcast. Anyway, it's nice seeing you. I'm going to check out for now and be good.